Good evening. This is the Mulberry Christian Radio with the 10 p.m. news update for January 24th, 2018. Before we get into the local area, the ex-U.S. gymnastic doctor Larry Nassar, 54 years old, was sentenced to 175 years in prison. The sentence was due because of sexual abuse involving 160 victims. Excuse me. He was the medical doctor in 4 Olympic Games. He was already serving 60 years in federal prison for child pornography. So, all told, he's looking at over 200 years without any chance of parole. And on the local level, the Polk County Health Department has warned that the flu season is getting worse. The Florida Department of Health stated that since mid-January there have been 34 outbreaks statewide. 94% of them were in nursing homes. Polk County has had 2 attributed in nursing homes and 1 in a correctional institution. They also advised that the flu shot is not necessarily 100% effective, but it does lessen the symptoms and makes it less severe. In 2016, statewide, there were 139 cases of death attributed to the flu. Also, Ginger Collins, the principal of the former Kathleen Middle School and McKeel Academy, was sentenced to 4 years for embezzling more than $100,000 from those 2 institutions. She's also stated to make restitution after she does her 4 years while on probation. The Polk County School Board, by a vote of 6-0, approved a contract for teachers and support staff of 2 to 3.5%. The starting salary with a bachelor's degree is $41,272. But after 7 years, it only increases to $43,600, and after 11 years, $45,700, which the rates are not that well compared to other school districts in the South. Southeastern United States. At the same time, the Polk County Commissioners approved the incentives to lure a manufacturing company that will be providing 250 high-paying jobs. The vote was approved on a 5-0 basis. The incentives are going to amount to $300,000 in the first step, but the 250 high-paying jobs are supposed to average around $68,000 in salary. Also, the commission approved plans for a self-storage facility in Mulberry called Imperial Lakes Self-Storage. This coming Thursday at the Mulberry Library will be a team time with movie and make your own popcorn. It's only for adults. Only for teens. And on a side note, sometimes you're better off going to a private walk-in medical clinic than going to a hospital. Depending on whether it is a major medical injury, for some medical problems that come up, you might be better off going to a walk-in clinic. Hospitals are vitally important, but sometimes they are not. Some experts say hospital emergency rooms are overpriced in many cases, and there are often longer wait times than in walk-in clinics. Some Florida hospitals have charged tens of thousands of dollars for a simple emergency room case. Only go to a hospital emergency room if it is a life or death matter, and then, due to poor screening, you may wait for hours for your emergency. A professional medical journal reported that over 100,000 Americans die each year in hospitals due to infections, botches, surgeries, and negligence. Just like calling the police sometimes results in an escalation of a crisis and a worse outcome than if people handled the matter themselves. Sometimes hospitals have been known to make a bad situation even worse. Another point of contention is to be aware in hiring someone to do work at your home. Whether you still have repair work hanging from the hurricane or the cold weather that we recently had, or you have routine maintenance around your home or business, be sure to check out any outside help that you bring on your property. There is probably no foolproof way to know that any independent contractors that you hire are totally honest. But you can at least make an attempt at a background check, which is easy if you have a computer and you are online. The very first place to check is the public records on the jail search at the Polk County Sheriff's Office. We have found several people we were thinking about hiring for small jobs. You can then try surrounding counties and their Sheriff's Office jail sites. You can also check with the county to make sure they have a business license, and through the state if they need insurance. You can also put the name or variations of the name of the individual or company in your search engine to see what comes up. Some people are on news sites in unfavorable ways. Asking anyone for references is a good idea, and check them out. Ask to see photos of work done. Most reputable companies are proud of past work and keep the photos. And one last bit of information to help the individual is a rip-off, the one-ring rip-off. Criminals sometimes program auto dialers to make repeated calls to you, each disconnecting after just one ring. They know this might spur you into calling back the displayed number to complain. There's double trouble if you call area codes such as 268, 664, and 876. These are for Caribbean countries and other places that have high permanent phone charges. One scam involves getting you to call one of those numbers, then getting you to hold through transfers to rack up your bill until a scammer gets on the line and starts a fraudulent pitch. And the Polk County Sheriff's Office is providing civilian active shooter training. This does not involve firearms. This came about over the tragic murders of innocents at the First Baptist Church at Sutherland Springs, Texas, in November of last year, which shows that an active shooter can strike anywhere. You owe it to yourself and your family to think about how you would react if an assailant showed up at your church, business, or local theater. What would you do? Are you prepared? Well, the Polk County Sheriff's Office invites you to a free program conducted by the Sheriff's law enforcement professionals in cooperation with several community partners. Learn what the best practices are and how you can make a difference. This training is designed and appropriate for churches, businesses, or individuals to help prepare citizens for a possible active shooter assailant. The training provides an overview of active shooter incidents and best practices about how to prepare for, prevent, and respond to an active shooter at your church, business, or the venue. The Run, Hide, Fight training model will be covered, including tactics and strategies of what to do when law enforcement arrives. The next class is coming up this Saturday at the Polk County Sheriff's Operations Center at 1891 Jim Keene Boulevard in Winter Haven. The first session is from 9 to 11 and the second at 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. You need to get to the Sheriff's website and pre-register to attend. The last one that they will be having, at least in January, will be on January 30th at Victory Church at 1401 Griffin Road in Lakeland, which will be held from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And on another note, the annual Alfalfa River Rendezvous, it's a weekend-long encampment, recreates frontier life before 1840. It's the 47th year of the rendezvous, and it's expected to draw as many as 8,000 people during the 2 days it opens its gates to the public. The group will welcome visitors from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. January 26th and 27th. That's this coming Friday and Saturday, when blacksmiths, broom makers, woodworkers, quilters, potters, and others will work their craft and sell their wares using only materials and tools that were in fashion at that time. They purchased property of 324 acres along US 1798 near Homeland. They use about 120 acres for the pre-1840 encampment, so they've got plenty of room to continue growing. And on kind of a sad note, in a sense, is the NFL rejects the Super Bowl ad promoting patriotism and respect for flag. The NFL has told the nation's largest veteran service organization, American Vets, its patriotic ad that encourages people to stand for the American flag and national anthem will not be tolerated. AmVets have been solicited by the NFL to place an ad in the Super Bowl program. When the submitted advertisement included a 2-word message, "Please stand," the NFL suddenly threw the penalty flag at veterans and gave the game ball to a team censorship. It's a simple, polite request that represents the sentiment of our membership, particularly those whose missing or paralyzed limbs preclude standing. National Commander Mulberry and Polk wrote in a letter to the NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell